Hey guys, Josh from soccerreviewsforyou.com, bringing you my first impressions plus on-feet video of the brand new K-leather variation of the Adidas Ace 15.1. Now inside the box they do include a string bag to go along with the shoes themselves. The string bag is black and neon yellow in color on the front with the control web synthetic upper pattern there. As you guys can see, you have the neon yellow strings, your white Ace logo and Adidas football branding on the front, while the back of the bag is left completely blank. Other than that, all you're going to find inside the box, as you guys can see, are the shoes themselves. So we'll get these guys out of the box really quickly, and we'll take a closer look at the leather variation of the Adidas Ace 15.1, which I think is really exciting because it comes across as a legitimately high-end, high-quality kangaroo leather soccer shoe that isn't the Copa Mundial. Obviously, we had something very good in the form of the 11 Pro 3, which has since been replaced, but this is more along the lines of a traditional kangaroo leather upper in terms of the overall construction, feel, and just general fit of the shoe. So if you're interested in learning more about the K-leather version of the Adidas Ace 15.1, please stick around, watch the entire video because it is quite a bit different from the synthetic upper variation. If you guys are interested in a pair of these for yourself right now, check out the review page on my website. That'll be the very first link down below in the description of this video. On that page, you will find Buy It Now links with exclusive SR4U coupon codes where you will be able to pick these guys up below their normal $220 retail price. So again, if you're interested in a pair, first link down below in the description, go ahead and check it out. And with that being said, let's get right into the review. So what's on offer when it comes to performance with the leather Ace 15.1? Now, obviously this is going to offer a completely different feel in comparison to the synthetic upper variation. The synthetic model has what they call their new control web synthetic for pretty much the entire upper, and you get none of that on this shoe. Instead, what you're getting is a premium high quality kangaroo leather upper. The quality is very similar to what you're going to find on the leather version of the X 15.1, a shoe that I recently made a video on, but for whatever reason this comes across as feeling a little bit softer to me. It could just be the variance in the actual stitching pattern on the leather upper itself, but overall it feels very, very nice, and you get much more leather on this shoe than you get from the leather variation of the X 15.1. The leather spans starting on the lateral side from this seam right here, so pretty much right at the start of your ankle forward, so the entire lateral side of the midfoot, the forefoot area, the toe box area, and then cutting off at pretty much the exact same point here on the medial side of the shoe. So from the midfoot forward, the shoe is made from legitimately good quality kangaroo leather, which is very nice to see. You do have these 3 Adidas stripes stitched on top, which are made from a synthetic material, but I don't think that's going to have a huge hindrance on the overall touch on the ball that you're going to get from this particular shoe. The leather has a good thickness to it, it's soft, it's padded, and it's going to provide what you would expect from a premium kangaroo leather soccer shoe, that natural sensation, that comfortable fit, that custom fit after a couple hours of wear time, and like I said, just a nice traditional feel that you would want from any natural leather soccer shoe. What's also great is that the bottom portion of the tongue, kind of lining up with the seams on where the leather cuts off, is also made from natural kangaroo leather. So you're going to get a nice uniform touch across all the main parts of your foot, which is really, really important for any natural leather shoe. Now, because this is made from kangaroo leather and not the same control web synthetic material, you're not going to find any of those non-stop grip dots on the upper whatsoever, which is not a big deal. It's, again, designed to provide more of a traditional feel. I know a lot of you guys will ask about this symbol right here. It's stamped into the leather. Essentially, all that symbol means that this is natural leather material, nothing more. It has no performance benefits or anything like that. You have an off-centered lacing system, just like what you're going to find with the synthetic variation of the rest of the Ace line. From the midfoot back, you're going to find a synthetic material that's pretty much on par with what you're going to find with the standard synthetic variation, and that part of the shoe, as you guys can see, does have the non-stop grip dots, which isn't really going to be super noticeable considering that it's the rear portion of the shoe. The top of the tongue is also made from synthetic, which does have the grip dots as well, but again, it's going to have a very minor impact on the overall feel. The heel lining material is a smooth perforated synthetic suede, which is really, really nice. The insole is also fully removable. It too actually does not feature synthetic suede. It's more of a regular smooth mesh material. It's got the perforations throughout, and it's the same insole you're going to find on the standard version of the Ace 15.1. Perforations through the midfoot and forefoot area. Not a particularly thick foam, but enough foam here to where the underfoot cushioning is pretty decent from out of the box. Really nothing to complain about. It does have your external plastic heel counter, which I really like about the Ace model in general. And then moving on to the sole plate and stud pattern, this is of course exactly what you're going to find across the entire Ace line in general, not just the 15.1 model. This is their ground control stud pattern, which not only performs really well, it's also FG and AG compatible. So whether you're playing on firm natural grass or on artificial grass, this is going to do the job for you. And based on my testing with the synthetic model, it actually is a legitimate kind of hybrid stud pattern. The studs aren't quite as long or as aggressive as what you're going to find on what I would say is 90% of firm ground stud patterns out there, but it's still aggressive enough in terms of how it's laid out and the type of studs they've included on here to provide really, really good traction on firm natural grass. It's more of a traditional sensation, not super aggressive. You get that nice kind of freedom to twist and pivot when your foot is planted. And again, just decent grip overall, whereas on artificial grass, the studs don't feel too long. And again, you don't have that cling that you want to avoid with any shoe on artificial grass. So your foot never feels like it's stuck in place, which is not only better when it comes to performance, it's also a lot safer and is also going to help the overall durability of the shoe. Now, given that this is a natural leather upper versus synthetic, the durability of this shoe on artificial grass is likely going to be not as good as a synthetic variation, which I haven't had any issues with. But that's something that, of course, I will follow up in my detailed review once I get some more testing time in the leather variation of the Ace 15.1. But overall, both on natural grass and artificial grass, the stud pattern here is very, very good. You have your 4 main heel studs, conical in shape, and then, of course, you have your 6 main studs in the forefoot with a bunch of little conical studs in between running along the edges of the sole plate as well as through the midfoot. And it's just an interesting system that, again, works really, really well. They can get away with the shorter stud on natural grass because you have all these other studs in between that help to cling on and provide as much grip as possible while still maintaining a conical shape to the stud, which is ideal for artificial grass playing surfaces. So overall, really, really happy with what I see so far with the K-Leather version of the Ace 15.1. I'm a really big fan of the synthetic model, and like I said, based on what I've seen so far, I'm expecting to be a pretty big fan of the K-Leather variation as well. So look for more content as far as follow-up opinions once I have an opportunity to actually test these out on the channel. But next we're going to move on to a quick weigh-in so we can see how lightweight these guys are in comparison to the synthetic variation of the shoe. Whenever you have the same model available in both a leather and synthetic upper variation, it's fairly normal for the leather version to be a little bit heavier, but we're going to see exactly what the weight difference is between the synthetic and leather version of the Ace 15.1 right now using this scale. So keep in mind these are both the exact same size 9 US, so this is a very fair comparison. We'll start off with the synthetic model, throw it on the scale, and you can see that they weigh in at 9.15 ounces, the equivalent of 259 grams. So they're not overly lightweight, but they're not heavy either. It's a shoe that feels very sturdy and just very comfortable on your feet. So remember those numbers, change the scale back to ounces, pull these off and throw on the leather upper variation, which feels about the same in hand, I would say. And you can see that they weigh in at 9 ounces, so 0.15 ounces less, kind of surprising, the equivalent of 255 grams. So you're talking about a 4-gram weight difference, extremely minimal, but surprising nonetheless. Like I said, it's fairly normal for the leather upper variation to weigh a little bit more than the synthetic model, but as you guys can see with the Ace 15.1 line, it's the other way around. Should this sway your decision if you're trying to decide between the leather and synthetic variations of this shoe? The answer to that question is no. The weight difference is so minimal, you're not going to notice it either in hand or when the shoes are on your feet, especially when they're on your feet. So really, if you're trying to decide between the leather and synthetic Ace, what the deciding factor should be is what type of feel that you're looking for, because they both feel very, very different when it comes to touch on the ball, as well as just the general feel of them when you're wearing them on your feet. So again, really depends on what your preferences are. Weight should not be the deciding factor. As far as aesthetics are concerned, I think the leather version of the Ace 15.1 looks pretty good. If you look at the X line, the synthetic model has its own unique design, whereas the leather version of the X kind of looks a little bit off to me. It just doesn't look like a shoe that was designed to have a leather upper. In the case of the Ace, the synthetic model looks great, and the leather model looks good too. Everything looks proportioned, everything looks right on this shoe. It doesn't look like an afterthought, which is kind of the impression I get with the leather version of the X. And that's not to say that those look bad either. Now, this is the second colorway release from Adidas, where basically it's an all black upper with some reflective 3M elements. On this particular shoe, what's reflective are the Adidas stripes on both the lateral and medial side, which, as you guys can see when they're not reflecting light, kind of just look like a light silver color, which is not bad at all. I actually quite like the look of the shoe. When they are reflecting light, it's a very cool effect, and this is a very bright 3M material. I'll flash an image on screen so you can see what it looks like. Not something that you're gonna see all the time while you're wearing the shoes, but a cool effect nonetheless. You're also gonna find other silver elements that aren't reflective in the form of the Ace branding on the tongue, as well as the Adidas logo on the back of the heel, and of course the silver Adidas stripes that kind of cross the sole plate right there in the middle. The rest of the upper is pretty much all black, the leather as well as the shiny synthetic at the rear, which I'm still not a big fan of, but because it is black on black, I suppose it does look a little bit better than the launch color. You have some black and neon yellow laces, a black heel liner, and the majority of the sole plate is clear in color, black at the heel, and then of course you do have the neon yellow studs, the three main studs on either side of the forefoot. So that's pretty much it as far as the visuals of the shoe are concerned. I think it looks pretty good, but leave your opinions down below in the comment section. Do you like how these look? Why or why not? And with that being said, let's move on to the on-feet portion of this video so we can get a better idea as to how these shoes fit and of course what the sizing is like. Alright, so here is a look at the leather Ace 15.1s on feet. On my left foot I have the stock yellow and black laces that come with the shoes, and on my right foot I have a pair of reflective black SR4U replacement laces. If you're interested in a pair of replacement laces for yourself, be sure to check out the website www.sr4ulaces.com. You find a direct link to that website down below in the description of this video. Now in terms of how these things fit and feel on feet, they're a lot different than the synthetic version of the Ace 15.1 in that it's natural leather as opposed to synthetic. So it feels more padded, a little bit thicker, and just very natural on feet. There's not really any break in time with this particular shoe, although they will get softer and stretch and form to the shape of your foot after a couple hours of wear time, which is pretty much what you're gonna find with any natural leather soccer shoe. They're very comfortable and, like I said, feel very good. This feels like a legitimate pair of leather soccer shoes as opposed to just a pair of shoes with some leather on it. With that being said, the overall fit of the shoe is very, very good. It's got some decent width to it, so even if you do have a wider foot, this is going to be a pretty decent option. I guess if you have extremely wide feet where you normally have trouble with the width of shoes, it may be worth looking into something like a Copa Mundial or something like that as opposed to these guys. But like I said, these feel wide enough to where they're gonna fit most people. They've got good width through the midfoot, forefoot, and toe box area. Definitely not overly tight at all. In terms of sizing is the same as the synthetic version of the Ace 15.1. We're in my usual size 9 US here, and the fit and the length is absolutely perfect. So if you are looking to order a pair of these for yourself, I would strongly recommend going true to size in order to achieve the best possible fit. Alright guys, that's it for my initial thoughts on the new leather Ace 15.1 from Adidas. Expect to see more of this shoe on my channel in the near future, as well as follow-up content in the form of my written review, which will be posted on the review page of my website. The very first link down below in the description of this video. If you click that link right now, what you will find in the meantime are the high quality images of this shoe that I took myself that'll give you a better idea as to how these actually do look in person, as well as buy it now links with exclusive SR4U coupon codes where you will be able to pick these guys up below their normal $220 retail price. So again, if you're interested in a pair for yourself, first link down below in the description, go ahead and check it out. If you have any questions at all regarding the Ace 15.1 in leather, leave them down below in the comment section. I definitely will get an answer out to you. If you enjoyed today's video, found it helpful and informative, be sure to support it with a like. Subscribe if you haven't already for daily videos on all the latest and greatest soccer gear. You can find all my social media information down below in the description as well. And other than that, guys, hope you enjoyed today's video. And as always, thanks for watching.